editorial, a Nova Democracia newspaper said, Yankee imperialism faces a pre-Civil War situation, and this is now more evident than ever in the context of the ICE operations and large protests, many of them armed within the US. A nation founded on the enslavement of Africans and their descendants, on the extermination of indigenous peoples, the theft of entire territories from other nations, the complete denial of civil rights to black people until 60 years ago, the super exploitation, that is, exploitation higher than average, of immigrants, illegal or legal, who are in any case coerced by the risk of deportation. This nation, however much it boasts of being democratic, is nothing more than an insane dictatorship of few financial capital oligarchs over the masses, in an accelerated process of ossification, of reactionarization of the state and now its institutions. As Lenin once said, imperialism turns the population into servants of financial capital and countries into prisons. The responses of the US masses, particularly community self-defense movements, immigrants, and black populations, calling for popular vigils against the ICE and even the exercise of legitimate self-defense are not common occurrences. The last time this happened on such a scale was in the 1960s, when civil rights were abolished for black people. The current popular reaction, which only has precedent in that extreme situation, says a lot about the current situation, which is also extreme, but not so much because of the lack of formal rights, but rather because of their practical revocation, which makes the scenario even more conflagrated, since this time the solution is not immediately found on the most radical realization of the old bourgeois democracy, which is beginning to reveal in an immediate way to the average consciousness of the masses its historical and political limits. One of the organizations engaged in the resistance is the Black Lion Party for International Solidarity. In an exclusive interview, a Nova Democracia newspaper will talk to Comrade Lou, a member of this organization. We'll talk to him to better understand its activities, ways of resistance, and political aims. Comrade Lou, welcome to a Nova Democracia newspaper. It is a pleasure to talk to you.
It's a pleasure to talk to you. Death to imperialism, life to freedom.
Yes. And could you introduce the Black Lions Party for International Solidarity to the Brazilian public? What are the objectives of the organization? What are your main activities?
Our objectives is basically to keep doing what we've been doing. We started out under the Black Panther umbrella, and we've been just continuing the same mission that we had originally. Now that we're Black Lions for International Solidarity, we still have the same mission that we had before. We still feed the people. We give them clothes. We have food programs. We give away groceries. We have education programs for political education. We have education programs for knowing how to protect yourself. We have all different type of education programs that we're coming up with also. And we just want to keep going and keep moving in our mission. Our mission is true and our mission is solid, so we will remain that.
And how do you organize nationwide? It's interesting because, as we were talking before, people here in Brazil live in similar conditions of police violence, and they see your self-defense and your activities as people's solidarity as an inspiration. So could you talk about how you organize daily and how you structure your organization?
So I could definitely see the correlation in the Brazilian people because we have projects and neighborhoods. You guys have favelas. So you guys definitely go through the same kind of similar oppression that we go through everywhere. I feel like there's people of color everywhere in the world, and we all go through the same issues systematically. And at the same time, simultaneously, we're going through the same issues. So for us to come about, it gives people a hope and a light and a beacon to seek, okay, if they can be like this, we can be like this, because we're everyday normal human beings, just like you, just like anybody else, where we work 9 to 5 jobs. And then we still have this revolutionary mind that we know something better can come from the situations that we have already.
Okay. And the current situation in the US is somewhat similar or reminiscent of the reality of the 1960s, when organizations such as the Black Panther Party and other organizations that were under the Rainbow Coalition formed an important front against the reactionary actions of the imperialist state. The 1960s were a somewhat extreme scenario, with legalized and blatant racial segregation in the US. How do you see this parallel between 1960s and now? And do you believe that these similarities show that we are living on another exceptional moment with a sharp intensification of the popular struggle?
So what I will say is, right, they say history repeats itself. So this just so happens to be happening again 60 years later. And we're going through the same issues they were going through. It's just being televised now. So back then they used to say the revolution won't be televised. But now I like to say personally, the revolution will be socialized. We have social media and everywhere for us to spread this message that we have available. So we need to be able to use that to our fullest capability so that people can really see what we're about, who we are, and our mission statement at its core.
And we are seeing also a rise of other organizations such as the Brown Berets, the Young Lords, organizations of immigrants, organizations of indigenous peoples. And how are you dialoguing or talking to these organizations, seeing this past experience of the Rainbow Coalition and the need to form this front?
So we are in the talks and we have these conversations with these groups specifically that you're naming. We want to work with everybody that wants to work with us. We still work with Panther groups that they come to our meetings and we all work together in correlation. We've worked with the Young Lords before, specifically in Harlem and in Maryland. With the Brown Berets, they want to get in touch with us now to start working with us. But us in ourselves, we have a Lion Society. So we're the Black Lions. We started a White Lion Party. We started a Brown Lion Party. We're looking to start a Red Lion Party, a Yellow Lion Party. So we want a Lion Society that is basically another Rainbow Coalition, but of today's day.
Hey, that's very interesting. And how do you imagine this Lion Society? How are you respecting it, and how do you see this?
We expect this to be something monumental. We take it day by day, as we should, but we understand the power and the responsibility that we hold. So every decision we make, every move we make, every conversation we have, the way we speak, we're fully conscious of what it is that we have going on and guidance that we can give these people.
Você está gostando dessa entrevista? Está aproveitando a primeira entrevista com um membro do Partido dos Leões Negros para a Solidariedade Internacional, feita por um jornal brasileiro, uma das primeiras de todo o mundo? Bom, esse é um dos produtos, dos resultados do trabalho incansável dos jornalistas do jornal A Nova Democracia. E se você está aproveitando o conteúdo, se você acha a linha do jornal Nova Democracia justa, e se você quer ver mais entrevistas exclusivas como essa, se você quer apoiar ativamente a luta revolucionária das massas de todo mundo, não perca tempo. Assine o jornal A Nova Democracia e apoie o nosso jornal financeiramente. Esse pôster que vocês estão vendo aqui atrás faz parte da coleção anti-imperialista do jornal A Nova Democracia. Esse pôster e vários outros que refletem a luta anti-imperialista das massas populares pode ser encontrado no site lojadoand.com.br. As novidades você pode acompanhar na página lojadoand_br. No site lojadoand.com.br, você também pode fazer a assinatura anual da edição impressa do nosso jornal. Assim, você recebe as nossas edições na sua casa, garantindo que as notícias e a interpretação popular, democrática, revolucionária do jornal Nova Democracia chegará até você sem problema algum. Se você quer assistir também outros conteúdos, acompanhar as notícias, editoriais, artigos do jornal, você acessa anovademocracia.com.br ou então a página do Instagram, anovademocracia_br. Para manter atualizado no dia a dia, é também o canal do WhatsApp A Nova Democracia. Não perca tempo, continue acompanhando o nosso jornal e apoie o nosso trabalho, porque assim você apoia a luta popular e a luta revolucionária no nosso país e em todo o mundo. And people who see your organization think a lot about the Black Panther Party. You said you started under the umbrella of the BPP, but now you is proclaimed as the Black Lion Party and think about a lion society. But as soon as the actions started, I think that everybody saw the organization and thought of the BPP, especially about the education programs, the self-defense actions, and also the solidarity among the people.
Correct.
And this is indeed very, very interesting, very inspiring. But we would like to know if you guys study and assimilate other aspects of the BPP's experience in the past. For example, the BPP had close ties with Marxism, and they were also increasingly moving towards the
Maoism.
Yes, Maoism, the ideas of Chairman Mao.
Correct.
How do you see this today?
We still believe in all of that. We still look at all of that and we believe in all of that and continue that practice. But we also understand that we're internationalists, like Huey P. Newton used to say. We know that there's a problem much bigger than our problem in the world, but we could all solve it together if we all put our differences aside and understand that we are the same to these oppressors worldwide. It doesn't matter what country you're from, what town you're from, what state you're from, what continent you're from. We all go through the same issues and the same struggle.
Yes. And talking about other struggles, your party is called the Black Lions Party for International Solidarity, emphasizing this internationalist spirit. How do you view the struggle of the oppressed nations in other places of the world, especially in Latin America, Africa, and Asia?
Like I said, I feel like everybody of color or everybody that's oppressed all around the world goes through the same struggle. Us in America, you guys in Brazil, people in Ecuador, Colombia, Dominican Republic, in Puerto Rico, and Haiti, and Spain, and Portugal, everywhere. Everybody in these places that has any color to them, they go through the same struggle because it's a systemic problem. It's not a country problem, it's a systemic problem. And the system was created by the powers that be. Those powers that be control the whole world. It's less than 100 people that run the entire world of 8 billion. And that makes no sense. That sounds like an imbalance of power, if you ask me.
Yes, of course. And recently we are seeing or interventionist actions by the US government. Recently in Latin America, we saw the kidnapping of Venezuela's president, Nicolás Maduro. We are seeing plans and reports about a possible aggression against Cuba. We're also seeing strange or weird movements for Iran. How do you of the BLP see these actions, these acts of aggression? And if you had to say something to the people of Venezuela, to the people of Iran, to the people of Cuba, what were you going to say?
I feel like all of this is a play of control because if you hear what their statements are for even taking the president of Venezuela, saying that he's a dictator and he's a drug dealer and all of that, and they take him. But months prior to that, they arrested the president of Honduras for the same thing and gave him a pardon. So is it that Honduras doesn't have the oil that Venezuela does and Iran does and Cuba does, the natural resources that they have? Could it be that? We never know.
And I think that's something interesting for us to talk. It's the conception of transformation of, or you said rightly about the need to unite, aim for a radical transformation of the world. And when we see the experience of the BPP, the convictions of Marxism and Maoism, we think about the need for a revolution, the need for abolish the imperialist state here in the oppressed countries, to abolish this reactionary state dominated by imperialism. How does the BLP see this transformation? What do you think about what do you need to do to transform society? What are your concepts of transformation?
I feel like it takes one step at a time, one day at a time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the more we come together as a people and understand that we stand in this fight together, then there's no body that can stop us. But we have to all understand that we have to stand together and unite. If we don't, then it's not going to work out for anybody.
And I think that maybe a final question is that how do you see the building of this popular resistance in the United States and also in the world? Because when we see the world, maybe in the last 10 years, we are seeing unprecedented rise in popular resistance. In the US, we saw a big leap with the George Floyd protests, with that huge mass movement. And in the recent past years, we saw the Palestine experience that I think that opened the eyes of a lot of people in the world to the validity of our struggle, to the need to fight for liberation, to show that these concepts aren't concepts of the past, that they aren't lost battles, and that the peoples can rise, can fight a powerful enemy, and can triumph, or can keep fighting until the final triumph. And so how do you see this rise and this building of popular resistance, and how do you think this is going to go in the next?
I feel like personally people are tired. So that's where all of this resistance comes from, because we're tired. We're tired of the oppression. We're tired of imperialism. We're tired of classism, racism. We're tired of all of these isms that come together to fight us. So with everybody being so tired, all they need is a guidance, a leader to let them know we are leading you guys to this fight. We just need you guys to fight with us. And that's all it's about. People are tired and they see it right in front of their face now. Back then, they couldn't, because there was no social media and technology wasn't as good for the whole world to see what's going on. But now the whole world can see it in real time, and everybody's tired. So that's where the resistance comes from. And the resistance is just going to continue.
Yes. Comrade Lou, thank you very much for your time. I know that the day-to-day is very rushy, very...
No, it's definitely fine. And we could do this again. I can bring a couple comrades on with me next time, and we can do this again, definitely. It was a good time. I enjoyed it.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, much appreciated.
Isso daí vai estar no YouTube, o bagulho é geral acessar e postar no Face, postar no Twitter, pra espalhar mesmo.